And what if I told you that this was an economic problem and contributing to the loneliness epidemic that we're currently in? To be the engine of serendipity. And when you get rid of serendipity and replace it with line culture, you are essentially eliminating the optionality that makes living in a city. When every restaurant, museum, pop-up has either a line or requires reservations or has a wait list, that introduces transaction costs. This is known as search and queuing costs, and they often fall disproportionately on people that maybe don't have schedule flexibility or people that don't have access to smartphones all the time. And the city becomes it's more expensive for these groups of people, whether in time or money. Also, this line culture, I think, as many people realize, is very much a result of algorithmic concentration through TikTok and Instagram, etc. And it essentially just funnels everybody to the same 20 spots, which is a market failure that creates artificial scarcity for these winning businesses, while perfectly good alternatives will just sit empty. And so what'll happen is these restaurants will play the algorithm game instead of actually designing good products or meals, etc. Because their end goal is to get people to post about it on TikTok, so they focus more on aesthetics and things like that. So not to get too wonky, but you essentially get an inefficient allocation of consumer demand that looks like a supply problem, but is really just an information or status problem. Spontaneity is also a consumer good. It's what makes a city generative, as I said before. And so if every single experience in said city requires some sort of advanced planning, you kind of lose the optionality value of urban density. Part of living in New York City is you get to go to all these different places and you have access to all these different places. The core proposition of cities is proximity equals serendipity equals innovation. And when that gets broken down, it's sort of well, then what's the point of living in a city, right? And also, as I write about in my newsletter all the time about money psychology and how it intersects with culture, this is very much a byproduct of the tierification of the economy and what happens when so much of our economy is built around access, members clubs, extra priority levels, etc. And the last thing I'll just say is I do also think it does erode our sense of community, because now the way a lot of people are spending their free time is standing in these lines, which is obviously a huge time tax, but also for a lot of people, standing in these lines simply to document whatever they're doing, whether it be food or experience. So the story, the post, etc. And we live in a consumer consumption culture, and a lot of that consumption has been content production. And it almost doesn't matter the thing that you're consuming. It's about if you're documenting it or not. And I feel we generally as a society are really truly experiencing less and just recording and documenting more, optimizing our lives for this digital audience rather than just ourselves.